a great roundtable of some of my soul family, just a few members who wanted to come on and share their story. This is, again, like most of my videos, source directed. He is my party planner. I asked to do this months back, and it wasn't the right time. I am super proud of every single member of the crew, which are my soul family. And for each and every one of us, while our experiences are very individual, we have a lot of common trials, we have a lot of common abilities, and we find ourselves now in a very compassionate, kind, loving family environment. And that is something that I think a lot of us have looked for a long time. And we are here to support each other 100%, whatever that looks like. We honor free will choice. No one is here against their will. This is completely consensual. And it is really more about honoring the inner voice that tells you this is good for you, this is in your highest and best good, than honoring anything else. So I am Nicole. I have been given a divine mission that is multifaceted. One aspect of that was to continue to use my YouTube platform to put out truth, and soul family members, which are also crew members of Starship Baba and Starship New Jerusalem, who have incarnated here at this time on this planet, will hear the frequency in my voice, feel that resonance, and reach out. When Source told me that, I was like, okay. And it has absolutely worked exactly how I was told it would work. So I am a believer, more so today than I was yesterday. And every day I get proven that this is a faith journey. Without faith in the process and faith in yourself, you're not going to get very far. You cannot question everything to the 10th degree because some things cannot be explained. It is truly a faith journey. So with that, I'm going to start with, I'm going to call you out so we don't have a bunch of people talking over each other. So Cassandra, do you want to give your story of how you found yourself a member of Starship Baba, Starship New Jerusalem, and learning all that you know now?
I started watching one of your videos. Actually, I think it was an interview that you were doing with Bryce. And I just, something in it just really resonated with me. And I remember reaching out to you for the link to Telegram. And once I got the link and joined on there, it just, stuff just started happening. And then I had been thinking, oh, sorry, my voice just came in. Can you go play outside for a little bit? I'm on a phone call.
Real life, this is not scripted.
Thank you.
Just like all my videos.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome. Okay, go play outside. You can play out there again if you want. It's okay. It's still sunny out.
It was probably more than a friend of yours. It was probably a friend.
Go outside. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Thanks. I'm on a phone call, so you got to keep yourself busy, okay? So, I'm so sorry. So I remember having a feeling of, so I was doing the 60-day shadow work challenge on Bryce's channel, and in February my husband's aunt had passed away, so I was working through grief, and then something happened. I started thinking, doing the shadow work and working through grief. And then something in me just started saying, well, you should quit smoking. And then I started messaging Nicole on Telegram, and she had talked to me about doing a healing session. And so the same day that I had chose to quit smoking, it was the same day I had my healing session with Nicole. And interesting about that too is that night, it, I don't know how to describe it. I could feel every area of my body that was being healed. And especially the problematic areas, I felt it there a lot more. It was like this warm sensation coming over your body, and it just felt loving. It didn't feel I didn't feel scared or anything. Nicole had walked me through it before, and as I was listening to the meditation, I must have fallen asleep while it was still going, because I remember being on the SS Baba ship, and I could see crew members, and there were other beings there. I couldn't fully see everybody. I could see an outline of them.
Yeah.
And they were, I just remember the feeling of being there, of it just being so welcoming and so just pure love. Like that's all you feel is that pure love. Like you're home. You're with your family. And I started crying for like, oh gosh, probably 4 or 5 days after that, because the only time in my life, especially in my childhood, that I ever felt that feeling was with my dad's parents. So it was just like that feeling of, oh, I'm home. And the other person that I felt that way around, of course, is my husband, who Nicole had informed me is my twin flame, which kind of makes sense to me now. But this whole journey has just been, wow, visions and downloads of, and I don't even know how to explain a download of something. It's just, it feels like
it's like a rush of information that comes in. It rushes in, and it depends on your ability. So some people's downloads are hearing, if they're clairaudient. Some people are clairsentient, so they feel it in their body. They have a knowing sense if they're claircognizant, clairvoyant, see it. So it just depends. It's different for everyone. So the description might be different for everyone, but it's a rushing in of information usually.
Yeah. And so before I had my healing with you, I've always experienced smells. That's how I've always known a family member or a friend who's passed away is coming to visit me or is visiting me. Because like my grandma, my mom's mom passed away, when I was little, we'd make ginger snap cookies. So in the fall, my kitchen will smell like ginger snap cookies. I haven't ever made ginger snap cookies in this house. My husband can smell it too, and he's like, "Oh, did you make cookies?" No, honey, I didn't. And so like that happens all the time. Sometimes I've had people visit me in dreams. My husband's father passed away when he was 3.5, going on 4 years old. And he visits me in dreams. I've never met him.
And how long has it been since your healing and activation? How many weeks has it been?
Exactly 3 weeks and 3 days. That's I'm keeping track because that's how many weeks I've gone without nicotine, and I'm not on a patch. I'm not doing a lozenge or gum, anything like that. You're just
done with it. You're just done with it.
And it's just a feeling of finality, permanent. You're done with this. You're moving on.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Jeannie, you want to share?
Well, in October of 21, my husband passed away. And being the age that I am, you naturally stop and reflect, well, what am I going to do with the rest of my life, and where does it lead?
Mhm.
And the desire, I guess, came to me that I need to really start on a spiritual journey and find what I've always believed in my life, but have never really been allowed to explore, was the spiritual journey as far as who is God and what I am to be. So I started down that path. I went through a year of deep soul searching, having to forgive myself and others,
Mhm.
and do some deep cleaning on myself. I have always believed that the religious aspect is not as portrayed as what we've been taught. Even as a little child, I would look up at the sky and know that God's there, but there's a lot more. He's a lot bigger than what we have been taught in this life.
Right.
And so I started down that journey. And along this journey, talking to Carol, my sister-in-law, she told me about 2 of your videos on, I think the name of them was what religion doesn't want you to know.
Mhm.
It deeply resonated with me, very, very deeply. And then she put me in touch with you, and I got my healing in January. I have been on this path and studying and learning, and have come to the realization that we have been misled a whole lot. It scared me to death at first. Scared the socks off me to even think that it couldn't be what we've been told, because we've been indoctrinated so much. But now I'm thankful. There is such a deeper relationship that I have with Creator Source than I have ever had in my life.
Mhm.
And so I'm just working through the details and exploring and finding myself in what I am supposed to do and be.
And you have done an amazing job. I want to commend you. I know it has not been easy. A lot of us find ourselves in that role where we're surrounded by people who, like us, are thoroughly indoctrinated in religion, and they're not where you are. They're not where we are. And so it's real hard you're excited about what you learn and you want to share it, and there's nobody to share it with. But we are that safe space. We are that safe space for each other. Some people are really fortunate. They have members of their family that are kind of on this journey with them, like Cassandra and Greg, for sure. But that's not the norm. The norm is people that are kind of on this solo journey. And I think that's really part of it, because you're forced to look within and really only hear the voice within, which is your higher self. And really that gnosis leads you to the truth. So I definitely commend you for that. Greg, would you like to share how you got here to be with us?
Sure. Well, it was funny because I was thinking about this in preparation, and there's a clear tower event, I like to call it, back in late 2018 that caused me to get on this journey. But then in retrospect, they say, you know, hindsight is 2020. When I look back on my life, I look back at events and things that have occurred, even the most painful things that I had to go through, all brought me to this point. They're all nudges to get it together and to get on the right path, and to you know, understand that spirituality side. But in 2018, I ended a relationship that was a little dysfunctional. Alcohol was involved. I had to come to grips with how I was using alcohol and how alcohol really inhibited my ability to connect to source. As soon, and like you were talking about the nicotine, as soon as I understood how it affected me and what the ramifications were, it was just over. I haven't had a drink since, and I didn't care, and I don't crave it, I don't miss it. So that was a big revelation. But I am with a partner who's on the journey. He's been in the rooms in and out. And so we're kind of working on this together. It's really helpful to have a partner that we have some really off the wall conversations. She came by one day and I think she was thinking, what do you want for dinner? And she said, what you thinking about? I was sitting back in my chair and I looked at her and I said, clarity comes in waves. Consciousness they're waves. They're waves through the universe. And she looked at it, she goes, okay, that's not what I was looking for. But it was funny because once I started to clear my head and get the alcohol out and to really search for the meaning and really try to connect, that's when I started getting the downloads. One of my gifts is claircognizant. And the first one that I got that was a really big one, and I think I posted that whiteboard. You can see my whiteboard. I get downloads and I have to doodle pieces of it at a time because I get little packets of information. The first one was just overwhelming. It was too much. I couldn't open it all in my brain. My brain was too small. It was just too much information. And so that was really frustrating because I was in this meditative state and I knew that it was important information, but I knew I couldn't access it all. So I knew I had to let it rest and it would come to me at the right time. And that was when I started doodling on the whiteboard. And as pieces came in, I wrote it down and then I tried to make it all make sense. The best way I can describe it is if you've ever had a big zipped up file that you try to open on your hard drive and you don't have enough memory to hold it all, you can't unzip it because there's too much. That was what it was. And so I had to trust that I would have access to those records and I could assemble the data later, which I was able to do. And that was about 2 years ago. That was primarily about the illness that we went through and some of the medications that were being made available. I'll just put it that way. But the journey continued and I started getting more downloads. I started to really understand my place and what my role was. And then at that point, I was able to recognize my partner's role and say, oh, wow, there's crystals everywhere. That must mean something. So that was really fun to see how that all unfolds. But I think that what was interesting was there was a point where I was ready to take the next step. And I was meditating to source, basically saying, okay, I think I'm ready for the next phase of this. What's next? And literally 2 days later, I got a note from Nicole. And I had seen some of her videos. I had found Bryce and I had found others. My journey with the truthers and the truther community has been hot and cold. People that I followed early on, I don't tend to follow anymore. I don't really pay much attention to. So I will follow someone until I start to get a feeling that it's not true information or they've got an agenda. That's when I start to phase out. So my audience to a lot of those people has shifted and changed so much. But I saw you with Bryce and I saw you on Twitter. I think I followed you. I think I commented on one of your videos, and then Nicole sent me an email, a chat through Telegram, I think. And she said, oh, you're part of the crew. And I'm thinking, oh, that's a weird way to start a conversation, but yeah, that sounds about right. So at this point, nothing surprises me. I mean, we literally have to unlearn everything that we've learned. I don't know what is true and what's not anymore. I mean, I grew up in the Catholic Church. I had to deprogram for that. But actually, the best way for me to deprogram that is I volunteered at one point, 25 years ago. I was teaching Sunday school to 5-year-olds while the church was in session. So I could skip church and I could go hang out with the kids. And that was a deal for me. That was a big eye opener for me, because trying to talk about God and spirituality to 5-year-olds, you realize that they have a much deeper understanding of it than what we have. And you can't put it in the constraints of a book.
Yeah.
And that's when I really started to I think that was the last time I was involved in the church. And that was when my son, he's 32 now, and he was 6 at the time. So, but yeah, it's been fascinating. One of the key things that I really appreciate about having access to these rooms is we can share information with people that aren't going to think that you've got lobsters crawling out of your ears. You know, you can post things, you can ask questions, I posted one of my crazy dreams that turned out to be more of a memory than a dream. And people get it. People can talk about it. It's a great way to be able to share information and help other people on their journey. We all have to understand everybody has an individual path. We may be walking together towards a goal, but our experiences are completely different. And so everybody has to unfold at their own time. And so you can't force it. It has to be their own journey. And so that's one of the things that I'm prepping for when some of my family starts waking up and starting to ask questions. You know, the ones that ask and want help, I'll be there. I'll help them. I'll coach them along. I'll provide whatever guidance and support I can, but they're going to have to walk the path. They're going to have to do the understanding and do the work. So that's the next big thing I think we're all prepping for is we're the way showers. We've been through this. We understand it. We have a pretty good idea what's going on. When the normies start waking her up and looking around saying, what the hell's going on? We have to walk them through it. And,
Yeah.
you know, some of my brothers, I'll do it. I told you so later on at some later point, but I think when they reach out, we're going to really have to be there to help them along because they're not going to get it.
Yeah.
It's taken years and years for me to integrate all the stuff that we're understanding now, and it's going to come to them in a flood, and they're going to need some help.
Yeah. I used to have burden about that because I felt pressure to get people identified and get them healed so that they can start to have these conversations with their higher self on their own terms, because I had X number of years or months or whatever to process the information. But again, I learn every day, and I've learned that it's not the burden of that is not my burden. Everyone will come in their own divine way, and we just have to be available and be the beacon, be the light, be the calm in the chaos and all of that, and that we have faith in what we have found to be true and confirmed through source, through others, and that is going to be the lighthouse, you know, in the storm. And so I have given that burden. I have given that burden back to source. He said, I think Linda can vouch for this. My shoulders wouldn't stop hurting. And she said, source says you're not supposed to carry the world on your shoulders. And I'm like, really? So yeah. Okay, Miss Carol, you want to give us your 1, 2, 3, how you got here to meet me and all the things? You're muted. Still muted.
Mute.
There you go. I hear you now.
Yeah, I hear you, and now I can't see you.
We can hear you, and I see your picture is just frozen. It might catch up later, but you can start talking.
Well, okay, I'm not seeing you folks now, but nevertheless, this is okay. My life got in the way of whatever spiritual journey I had envisioned for my life. Let me explain that there have been a number of family members who were obviously having mental health issues, most of which had to do with NPD, and their lives. There were multiple people, like 5 or 6, that my husband and I, came in contact with throughout our marriage. And much of what was a part of their lives involved lying, deception, manipulation, and in turn, they would often be critical and be very, very condemning of both my husband and myself, unprovoked for any reason. Well, that became a very significant part of my spiritual journey, because I was looking for the truth in life, the truth. All that seemed to be around me was deceptions and lies. And at one point, well, I grew up in Minnesota, so I was very Lutheran, and I had a lot of connection with the church, but there was still a separation, I would call a lack of connection there. Mm-hmm. And then at one point, this was some time ago, I heard Nicole. And I believe at that point, my goodness, I think we had maybe 12 people in our group or something like that.
Yeah.
I was totally connected to you. I mean, I was overwhelmed. And you then expressed your desire to provide a healing, and I certainly was looking forward to it, because for me, it meant a real connection with a spiritual truth.
Right.
That to me meant a unity in this world.
Yeah.
And for what I've been seeing and feeling is that there has been such a division, divide and conquer. It's been a war. And not only in our world, but in my life, looking for truth. And so I have had now the opportunity to feel spiritually fulfilled? Do I need to work at carving more time simply allocated to, meditation, etc.? But what it has done, and Nicole, I got to tell you, with your eloquent and insightful wisdom, it's all about self-love. The minute I took responsibility for taking care of Carol is when all of a sudden my my feeling, I can't explain it, but there was, I guess, a higher sense of validation and and a path to lead to truth and to lead to an environment, a place where there is unity and not the division that has been so much part of my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
anyway, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, it's been several months since you've been with us.
Yes.
And everyone has lives outside of this mission, this journey. And
Yeah.
I think the more work we do on ourselves, the more we can help the people around us. But sometimes that's just not their path. Sometimes it's just not for them to come along with us. I've said that before. But it's all about it. You do need to have that sense of self that you can't give to others if you haven't given it to yourself. If you haven't healed yourself, you can't exactly help heal others. And so we really do have to go against the grain and do some self-care and self-love, and setting healthy boundaries is really a part of that too. So thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. So true.
Alicia, you're muted.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Let me see, where do I start? It was last May. I had a dream, this crazy dream. I don't really dream very often. And when I do, I remember them very vividly. So in this dream, I just went back to my childhood home. And I was just standing out on my back deck, and I looked up into the sky, and the sky started to turn into a face. And then the face came down toward me, and it just said, "Who are you?" And then I woke up, but I was in my room, but I was looking through my eyelids, but I was awake, but I could see my room, but I knew that my eyes were closed. It was the craziest thing that had ever happened. I remember, like, as a teenager, being able to astro travel and do things like that. But of course, when I got older, I wasn't able to do those things. So, I just kind of lost all of that. So that was the first time that I kind of felt like I had done something like that again. And then I had been scrolling TikTok and found a video that Bryce was doing, and she was doing it about the Sphinx. And I was really curious about it. So it was like a 1-minute clip. So I somehow managed to find her YouTube, and I already was waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, had gotten myself into a routine just because I was so lonely. Like, I was working before I took the job that I'm working at now. I was working in healthcare. I was absolutely miserable. I was in school to be a nurse when COVID came, and they were talking about moving everything virtual. And I just know, like, I can't, how can I learn this virtually. Like, there's no way I can't do that. So I had a lot going on at home. There was, I wasn't going to be able to do that. So I stepped away from nursing, which I now know was kind of a blessing. So I continued to work as a CNA at a local hospital. I got injured helping a patient. Anyway, I got my emergency call light. Like, they never answered it. So anyway, I got a spine injury from that. So I had doctors giving me like prescriptions, and I was having spine injections, and they weren't helping. And anyway, so I finally quit healthcare. I was miserable. I had this dream. I found Bryce's channel, and then just slowly, just very, very slowly, because I have to take things in chunks. When I get too much information, I almost have to like recluse like a little spider, and then absorb it, and then I come back feeling refreshed. So I of course watched some of the videos that Bryce is doing on her channel, and she was talking about the shadow channel, the shadow challenge that she had done this past November. Of course, it was one of those where I wasn't ready to do it until 3 weeks after they had started it. So I started that challenge, and just again, like you had popped in there, and then I was already in Telegram anyway, and some other things that were going on. And it's kind of like a whirlwind. Everything just kind of like happens. And then I think about it, and I'm like, I don't even like really remember how I initiated these conversations or how it happened. I just feel like sometimes I'm almost autopilot. But I had my healing was a week ago today. So yeah, I'm feeling really good. Just trying to not doubt myself. I think that's my like biggest thing, is to not doubt myself, and to know that I do know these things, and I knew them when I was a kid, and I know them now. I feel like definitely the meditating, working out, just having people to talk to who understand what I'm talking about, because when you're sitting at a dinner table and you talk about flat earth and everybody looks at you, and your wife looks at you and she's just like, oh, she did it. Like, she said it. And I'm like, yeah, I did. I said it. When you guys realize that the earth is flat, you'll remember this dinner conversation. But then, of course, I feel like I'm this big because I'm the only one in the room. So it is very, very reassuring to have people to talk to in all of the channels. So that is very, very nice, because other than the group, I have nobody to talk to about this. So it is nice.
A lot of us have the same, like different specifics, but the same story, right? And that's why I really was compelled to give a space, a safe space for people. We don't always have the answers. We lean on each other to confirm things and figure it out. One person may have one piece of the puzzle, another one, when you share our dreams, and now we know what we know, right? Whenever our body is on the pillow resting, the meat suit, like I like to call it.
I love that.
Our consciousness is out there. We're doing stuff in 12 different dimensions. And so lots of times your dreams is a memory or a vision, and you were with some of us, but we don't have those memories either. And so if you share it in the group, it'll trigger memories, or someone else will say, I can confirm that, and I can add this to it, and so that has enabled, I've always encouraged that sharing. So even if you learn you were way off base, but you're still channeling that information, that's a win. That's a little victory. We'll have that. We'll celebrate that together, because there's a lot of indoctrination that we have to do, a lot of programming that we have to undo. I was in healthcare for over 30 years, if you count all my medic time in the military and all of that. And so again, finding the truth for me was refreshing, because I can respect the truth, but I can't respect the lie. And I'm way over people lying to me. Like, if that's all you have for me, please go the opposite direction, because I'll sniff you out in a heartbeat and call you out on it. So if nothing else, we do provide that where it's a safe space. And I'm very happy that you were able to find us, because we really enjoy having you as well. Linda, you're up.
Okay, let's see. Well, I mean, I came to Nicole late summer, early fall, but I've been on this questioning journey since I was probably 13 years old, growing up Catholic, and just definitely the black sheep of the family, and not even being able to question it. Because I mean, my parents were lovely people, but like faith wasn't one of the things you had free speech around.
Right.
And so yeah, just searching really my whole life for like what was the truth about God, and not ever really finding satisfactory answers. And but I think what really happened was when COVID hit, I knew that was bullshit. And so I was following all the people that were getting censored and knowing that they were telling the truth. And somehow that opened up the truth on a lot of other things, like our political system and the way the United States is run, or the world is run. And then that opened up the financial stuff. And that even opened up the ET stuff for me. And all of it happened really not in 2020 exactly. 2020 was mostly all the COVID stuff. And then 2021 and 2022 is when all the other stuff started trickling in for me. And so I was in a group about the revaluation that's coming up. And Chatty Cathy was somebody who helped me. And she helped me tremendously, actually. And then she had some other groups that I ended up in. And that's where I started seeing Nicole's videos on the truth about what the church doesn't want you to know and things like that. And I resonated immediately. She just had so much deeper knowledge than I instinctively knew she was right. I just didn't have the background and knowledge that she had, like all the details. And so then she posted a video that I commented on, and she said that was her clue, that Source had told her, Mother Sophia, that whoever commented was likely part of her crew. And then at that time we were a wee small group, because it was early on, but that was like last September. And then I got healed in September and found out I was on a twin flame journey. I'm divorced after 30 years, a little over 3 years now. So that was right before the 3-year mark. And I know who he is, and he's somebody I knew a long time ago. We haven't seen each other in 41 years. And then also the gifts of claircognizance came to me, and that has been quite something, because I just get stuff. Not so great with me, but I seem to really be able to get stuff for other people. And or I'll be in the car driving to work and I'll hear a word or something, or I'll see something, and it just triggers information coming to me.
Yeah.
And early on in my journey, after the healing and the twin flame thing, I had a trickster higher self, and that caused a lot of problems. And so Source just stepped in. So I really have a one-on-one relationship with Source. And I don't really know why that happened, but it did. And it's sort of like something I guess I've always really prayed for, like a really intimate personal relationship with, the creator. And I get a lot of so everything I believe, no one else like I know believes. Like everybody just looks at me like I have two heads if I even try to talk about it, including my lovely children who are grown adults, like 24 and 26. They love me, but they think, I'm probably losing my marbles.
Yeah.
And then the whole twin flame thing, like my family doesn't get it. They're expecting this to be like a very 3D relationship. Like, well, have you talked to him? Does he write? Like, so what's going on? And like nothing's going on because he was ending a marriage. And like, so we have had zero contact since I first reconnected with him back in October. Like, I think sometime late October was the last time I actually had contact with him. But so like I'm just trying to go by faith alone, which is even hard for me. I'm like 80% faith, full of it, and 20% like this is just a shit show. Like I'm like, I don't know what's going on, and I don't know if this is real. And so I vacillate. But just exploring everything and learning about missions and learning, you know, about newearth, and that, you know, we're the way showers and we're the leaders and we're escorting everybody else there, is beyond my wildest imagination. And yet I buy into it 100% because it just, it feels right. Like I don't get any dissonance in my gut when I think about this stuff. It sounds exactly right to me.
Yeah. Yeah. You have had one hell of a time with Source being your main man, but you know, there are lessons to be learned in all situations, and we just have to be open to it. And and I look forward to your twin flame reunion. I'm sure you do. You do too.
Coming soon to a life near you. No.
Yes. 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 And like I wanted to bring up too, like everybody's abilities are different. So I have claircognizant. Greg has claircognizant. Linda has claircognizant. A lot of us do. Mine come in through just like a dump of information into my brain. I don't have a lot of visual cues. Linda's is more of like a ticker tape, like at the bottom of Fox News. Like she gets this running information that she kind of can read. I won't speak for Greg, but everybody has a reception of their ability in a different way. And that is just for you to cultivate. So if someone says, is this normal? Well, I don't know. Is it normal for you? I'm not sure. Let's figure that out. Like, let's ask some questions and see how the answers come to you, because that's how you determine which of your abilities is your strongest one. And then you just want to keep practicing. So she's invaluable to us. She helps with a lot of lineage information, role information, dragon information, like all kinds of stuff. So thank you so much, Linda.
It's a joy.
Yeah. Lisa, you're up.
All right. Hello.
Hello.
I'm very new. I got to meet Nicole or connect with Nicole probably just like a week ago. My girlfriend, one of my good girlfriends, Angela, who's in the crew, she was talking about her healing, and then one night she showed me all the stuff that you removed, and I had a call. I said, I resonate with this. This is truth. You know, I want to level up. I want to, I've always had a connection with Source, and I've been on this path for 30 years. So, Alicia, I understand what, like, family. I've always been, okay, Lisa, you know, I've had my many times where I would try to educate my family. I don't care. I don't tell them anything anymore. And sometimes I just say things, and if they don't like it, I just say, it's guru, or, you know, this is the truth. I don't, you know, or I just don't say anything. I just send them love. But when Angela got that healing, I reached out to Nicole, and I got a healing. And that night, around midnight, I remember I was about to go to bed, and I just felt so out of my body. And I knew I was getting worked on. And I knew I was in the high state. And my ego self said, you need to go eat. Go eat some cookies. And I was like, oh no, I'm not going to eat. I'm going to go, and I'm going to go to bed. And then the next day, I just felt like I knew I needed a push. And you removed so much. I was like, oh my gosh, you know, it was like so much. And I felt so good. And I'm doing these EES beds too. So the next day I went into that. And then I took the grounding bath. And ever since then, I've just been connecting. And then you did a reading on me where I didn't tell her anything, and it was very on point of everything. And so it's like, and also when I know when there's truth, I have this beautiful I am presence going on, this energy that comes, and that's how I know someone's telling the truth. If I'm talking to someone, if my body vibrates, then I know they're telling this whole story. And so I just know this is all truth. And it's only been a week, and there's so much information, and I'm just open. And I know this is my last life here on the planet. I've known this since I was very young, and nothing's going to hold me back for this mission. Even I'm saying right now, my crown's opening, my heart just like nothing's going to stop me. I don't need all of my partners, all of my family, all of my friends. They are in the box. Even when, the pandemic was happening, I was like, this is a pandemic. Everyone's like, my partner's like, don't say that in front of people. I'm like, but it's true. Yeah. I knew this in 2017. Like, I told you it was going to happen. Something is coming out. And now, and then, he wanted us to get jabbed. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. If that's what you're going to do, our relationship's over. And then, I have stepkids. It was just like this whole thing. But now it's all, no one talks about it. And some of our friends didn't talk to us for a while. And now they talk to us because they didn't feel safe, and I had to like watch. And then Source even said, just be the watcher, because if you engage, then you're just mirroring them. So I had to always go inward, and I stopped doing any Instagram stuff for the last 2 years. I'm going to start sharing now, but I was kind of, I don't want to use the word afraid, but I didn't want my partner to be judged already. Everyone was judging us for not getting jabbed and doing all the other stuff. And so I was always, didn't want to share my voice. But now I'm at a point where it's my role. If I'm not sharing my voice and only to my soul family, yes, that's great. But what about the people who really need to hear it?
Right.
Then I need to get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at. I'm getting uncomfortable to be comfortable. Mm-hmm. And yes, and if I'm gonna lose more friends, I'm gonna lose more friends. And if I'm gonna lose some of my family, I'm gonna lose my family. Is okay. It's my partner's family. They're very, they're just, and I love them, and I don't judge them, but they're judging me.
Yeah.
But, and I know just being in this beautiful space will instill more strength, to spread the love. There is no message. The message is love.
Right.
Really, and that's what I tell my clients is self-love is everything. If we can fully love ourselves, then all the other stuff that's happening, won't get triggered because we're so in with source. It's like we can see the BS. We can see, the fear and all that stuff. So that's what I'm trying to do. Just keep going in. And
you've done a phenomenal job for the week that you've been thrown all this on. And I don't envy anyone who's in a relationship of any kind that has the closed mentality of that. And I have had that too, but for me, I've worked too hard to get to where I am, to let the opinions of others sway me from source. Like I've worked my entire life, I've asked for that connection, and now that it's here, it was the absolute perfect time for me because source decided it was the perfect time for me. Did it look like the perfect time to anyone else? No, they thought I had lost my marbles. But I've never felt more sane purpose driven than now. And do I know what I'm doing tomorrow? Not really. I have a very loose idea of my days now, and I'm okay with that. I live through meditation and connecting to source and my downloads, and that's so much more confirming and loving and compassionate than anything I had before. So I totally resonate with all of that. Yeah, that's beautiful. Kathy, are you with us?
I am.
Do you want to share?
I would love to. This has been so amazing hearing these stories and the people that are new and feeling right with everyone. It's like, oh, this is just fantastic. My journey has been I'll spare the time. We're running longer, but just to hit bullet points, I went from not knowing anything. I felt like I knew it all. Like if you doubted, if you wondered if I knew anything, I would convince you that I had it all together. I knew the answer before you even knew a question. And I've gone from that to being open to being taught. And even still, every day, I am learning so much new. And everything that I thought was so for sure, I had it in the bag. I knew it was definite. It's been turned upside down and inside out. So it's like, it's exciting to me now. Many of you have talked about the trauma and the relationship issues as you've gone through your journey with healing and learning about the mission and New Earth and Starship Baba, all the things. It's like every day is an evolving. It's like we're learning. And I forget if it was Alicia, maybe it was several of you actually, because I know I heard Carol talk about self-love. Like that was like a 4-letter Greek word to me. My whole world was how much can I help other people and I'm nothing. My value is in how much I can do for you because I'm not worth it. Right? I didn't know that. So all this stuff comes out as we try, as we try to learn, as we step into faith-filled positions that we have no clue what we're doing, but we're just following our heart. And it's exciting to me. It's exciting to watch Nicole. I mean, I'm just saying, when I met Nicole, I was like, I don't even know how we first started, but I think she was very instrumental back in the day when I thought I knew it all. And I remember that somebody talked about that video of what the church doesn't want you to know. I will never, ever forget that video. To this day, I can see my mouth wide open, my eyes bugged out like I'd just seen a ghost, hearing for the first time truth that exposed my whole upbringing. And I'm not 20 years old. I remember after that and hearing the truth of the church and the truth of our government. And I mean, it just goes on and on. You know, the Sophia Code book, all the teachings of Bryce and Magdalene. And I remember talking to my adult son and I go, honey, I've loved you from the core of my being, but don't believe anything I taught you. Nothing. And I was the mom that was always right. If in doubt, ask me and I would convince you. And I told him, I go, honey, seriously question everything. You find out for yourself. Was mom right? Is this true? And get your own truth. Get your own for sure inside. Don't take it from me. Because I have been wrong most of the time. And that's huge. That's huge to not just admit that. I didn't have any ego in that at all. But it was just, it's almost like psyche threatening in there. You know, to know that everything that you've been taught was wrong. What we were taught as being straight up was really upside down. No, that wasn't black. It was really white. You know, it's like, anyway, I don't know where I was going with all that, but oh, back to Nicole. So back with that first video, when you were sharing all that, it's just been a daily, and for me, it's been a lot of questioning. A lot of people I look up to on every level, not just in the government, certainly not in the church, in the truther communities, in the patriot communities, in the RV communities, in the love and light, in the spirituality groups. It's like, I am at a place now that I can love you, I can listen to you open, and I will weigh every single thing. And just because I love you doesn't mean I'm going to swallow everything you believe, because I don't have to. I can have, it's like, and I've learned this from Nicole and from everybody in the groups as we share. It's like, I can feel when it resonates inside. And that is the goal of all of us, that we can trust that higher self, that spirit inside each of us. It's alive and it wants to be felt. It wants to be shown individually, not in mass, not like we're scripted little Stepford wives that sit and nod their heads all together while we take our pills. It's not like that. But we have all sacrificed, and we've all lost family, we've lost friends, and we do it all again.
Yep.
All again. I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful. Thank you, honey, for giving us all this chance. It's just amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. And I will say that the number one thing I want each and every person that comes in is to be able to take their power back, to be able to say, I can find the truth on my own. I am clear. I'm a clear channel. I can speak to my higher self. Even if you've never done it before, we can help you with that. And you then know, because your soul recognizes truth. If you've never heard truth, or you're not really in connection with your soul, you may not know what that feels like. But the first time it happens, you'll know. And it is unmistakable. And your soul will gravitate toward truth, just like children gravitate toward what feels good. It is unequivocal. And once you feel it, truly feel it, and experience it for the first time, it's not something that you're going to want to let people bowl you over for. You're going to want to protect it. You're going to want to protect yourself. And it helps you find your confidence, I think, in your truth, whatever that may be, and whatever your path is. Everyone has a different journey. If it is a journey, they're full of highs and lows and learning moments and small victories. The ultimate goal is that we help lead light beings and new earth, and we help elevate humanity. And I just don't see a downside to that along the way. If you find your sovereignty and you are able to fulfill all your dreams, because Source knew exactly what was in your heart and soul even before you did, I think that's definitely a silver lining to this mission. So I'm going to close it out there. I thank each and every one of you. I honor each and every one of you for being courageous and being on this video. It's going to live forever on the internet unless YouTube takes it down. And all of the links to our Telegram group will be in the description box of this video. Please leave comments of love and compassion and kindness and support. And if you have anything else to say, keep it to yourself. Okay?
Happy birthday.
Yes. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a wonderful day. I've had so much love and unexpected gifts. And I'm incredibly grateful, and very blessed to be here in this now moment, especially surrounded by my soul family. I've never been able to actually celebrate my birthday with people that actually cared about me. So it's been lovely.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. You guys have a great night, and I will talk to you
Thank you.
later.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you.
guys.
Bye, everybody. It's nice meeting everyone.
It's the key to life. It makes it possible for us to get out the door, challenge ourselves, and find joy. There are few things more important than our health. Throughout history, there have been breakthroughs in health technology that have made our lives longer, more vibrant, more joyful. Breakthroughs that have fundamentally changed how we think, learn, and live.
This is where the future lies, and this is why redox chemistry and supplements that employ this are so powerful.
They literally turn on and turn off, signal every single process in every living cell. And to be able to stabilize a product that allows us to replenish that is just a phenomenal breakthrough.
This has the capability to change the landscape of the healthcare system as we know it.
What if one of the biggest breakthroughs in health technology was actually something small? A breakthrough technology that works at the cellular level, where health begins.
This truly is a transformational technology. It's an elegant and very simple product that's having a profound impact. When people ask me what I'm most excited about, it's the fact that we own the space of redox right now.
A health technology so unique and cutting edge that it is transforming health at a foundational level and changing lives all over the world.
I started using the product and I could see that it was real. It was a real deal.
And the way it changed my life was absolutely mind-blowing.
ASEA was something truly special. It was unique.
It has had tremendous impact on my life.
You know, sometimes you just have that kind of feeling that you're just going to take a leap of faith, and that's what I did.
And that became a defining moment where I started sharing it with everyone.
It's life-changing. I mean, it gave me my life back. In one word, it's profound.
A technology that empowers the most basic building blocks of your body to thrive. ASEA REDOX.